In the Heat of the Night, 1988-1995 was more than just a hit TV crime drama. It was a powerful series that broke barriers, exploring themes of justice, race, and compassion in the deep American South. Inspired by the Oscar-winning 1967 film, the show became a small-screen classic, captivating millions with its gripping stories and unforgettable performances by Carroll O'Connor, Howard Rollins, and a talented supporting cast. But as time has passed, fans can't help but wonder what became of the people who brought Sparta, Mississippi to life. In this video, we'll take a nostalgic look back at the beloved cast, uncovering where they are now, how their lives and careers have changed, and what they're doing in 2025. Carroll O'Connor was born on August 2, 1924 in Manhattan, New York, and took on the role of Chief William O. Bill Gillespie in the Heat of the Night in 1988 at the age of 64, bringing to life a character who was gruff, stubborn, yet capable of surprising moral growth. Gillespie's conflicts with racial prejudices, his evolving sense of justice, and his rough-hewn mentorship of Officer Virgil Tibbs made him both compelling and frustrating to audiences, mirroring the layered, sometimes contradictory qualities of O'Connor himself. Carroll's childhood was marred by financial hardship during the Great Depression, frequent bullying, and a household where emotional expression was discouraged, instilling a toughness that would serve him well on screen, but often manifested as stubbornness off-screen. His career, while decorated with 5 Emmy Awards, was also punctuated by clashes with writers, producers, and fellow actors. He was notorious for rewriting scripts, demanding creative control, and occasionally intimidating colleagues. One of the darkest chapters of his life was the suicide of his son, Hugh, which triggered profound grief and public advocacy against substance abuse, yet also exposed the volatility of his personal world. O'Connor struggled with the stresses of fame, his own battles with alcohol, and periods of deep depression. He faced multiple hospitalizations due to complications from diabetes and related heart issues, underscoring the fragility behind his robust public image. Carroll passed away on June 21st, 2001 in Los Angeles at 76, leaving an estate valued between $20 and $25 million, including properties, royalties from his television and film work, and memorabilia from his legendary career. His legacy is twofold: a television icon whose portrayals captured both grit and vulnerability, and a man whose personal grief and private struggles shaped a fierce commitment to advocacy and the nuanced storytelling of human imperfection. Howard E. Rollins Jr. was born on October 17, 1950 in Baltimore, Maryland, and was 38 when he began portraying Chief of Detectives Virgil Tibbs in the Heat of the Night in 1988. Tibbs was cerebral, principled, and measured a commanding presence who juxtaposed sharply against the chaos, prejudice, and corruption that permeated the fictional world he navigated. Audiences gravitated to Tibbs' combination of intellect and integrity, which became the moral anchor of the series. Yet, Howard's real life was a turbulent reflection of the pressures he portrayed. Born into a working-class Baltimore family, he endured poverty, early exposure to crime, and the loss of several close relatives, which instilled both resilience and an underlying vulnerability. His early career was marked by high praise, including an Oscar nomination for Ragtime, but his success was continually undermined by substance abuse, including cocaine and alcohol, which led to multiple arrests and conflicts with producers. These struggles culminated in his eventual dismissal from the series, a professional blow that weighed heavily on him. Rollins' personal life was similarly volatile. He engaged in multiple failed relationships and marriages, and in the years before his death, he began cross-dressing privately, a deeply personal expression that stirred tabloid speculation and fueled Hollywood gossip about his private life. Despite his struggles, Rollins continued to work sporadically, showing flashes of the talent that had earned him early acclaim. He ultimately succumbed to complications from AIDS and lymphoma on December 8, 1996, at 46 years old, leaving behind a modest estate valued around $500,000, composed of residuals, a small property, and personal belongings. His life story remains a study in contrast: immense natural talent and public adulation, cut short by addiction as health crises, and the often brutal pressures of Hollywood, leaving a legacy that blends brilliance with tragedy. Carl Weathers was born on January 14, 1948, and was 45 when he joined In the Heat of the Night in 1993 as Chief Hampton Forbes, a role that demanded authority gravitas and a commanding presence to balance the series' complex social dynamics. Forbes' character was both respected and feared, a figure whose moral integrity and strategic thinking shaped key plot lines and resonated deeply with audiences. Weathers' own life, however, was a tapestry of triumphs and hidden tensions. Born into a working-class family, he navigated a childhood marked by economic hardship, exposure to urban violence, and the pressure to succeed athletically, which instilled both discipline and an unyielding drive to prove himself. His NFL career, coupled with his breakout role as Apollo Creed in the Rocky films, cemented him as a public figure, but this fame was not without complications. He was known for exacting standards on set, sometimes clashing with fellow actors and crew over rehearsal intensity or direction, earning a reputation for perfectionism that could border on intimidating. Professionally, he faced typecasting and missed opportunities, frustrated when studios pigeonholed him as an action figure rather than exploring his dramatic range. On the personal front, Weathers navigated 3 marriages, occasional public scrutiny, and the challenge of raising 2 children while sustaining an active career in both sports and entertainment. He endured the deaths of close friends and mentors, health concerns, and public misunderstandings that added weight to his personal narrative. Weathers passed away on February 2024 at the age of 76 from undisclosed causes, leaving behind a net worth estimated at $8 million, encompassing earnings from acting endorsements and business ventures. His legacy is expansive, spanning professional sports, iconic film roles, and television drama, marked by a disciplined pursuit of excellence and a presence that demanded attention both on-screen and off, leaving a lasting impact on American pop culture and the entertainment industry at large. Lois Nettleton was born on August 16, 1927, and took on the role of Joanne St. John in the Heat of the Night in 1988 at the age of 61. Her character embodied elegance, intelligence, and emotional complexity, often navigating the treacherous waters of social expectation and personal ambition, adding a layer of sophistication and moral ambiguity to the series' tapestry. Nettleton's own early life was marked by pressure and deprivation. Born into a family that prized achievement over emotional nurturing, she endured relentless comparisons to siblings, strict parental control, and early experiences in beauty pageants that fostered both public poise and private insecurity. These formative struggles sharpened her intellect and fortified a private resilience qualities that fueled a prolific career across theater, film, and television. Despite a string of professional accolades, Nettleton faced systemic challenges in Hollywood, including typecasting, ageism, and the gendered limitations imposed on women in the entertainment industry. She survived a particularly painful period after her high-profile marriage to humorist Gene Shepard ended in acrimony, leaving emotional scars compounded by professional setbacks, including projects, shelved auditions lost, and conflicts with producers over creative direction. Colleagues described her as intellectually intimidating, sometimes aloof, but unyieldingly committed to craft, earning both admiration and quiet resentment. She also confronted health issues, notably her battle with lung cancer, which she faced privately while continuing to work on select projects. Nettleton's death on January 18, 2008, at age 80, closed a chapter on a life characterized by both brilliance and quiet struggle. Her net worth, estimated in the several million-dollar range, included residuals from decades of performances, real estate holdings, and investments tied to her theatrical endeavors. Hugh O'Connor was born on April 7, 1962, in Rome, Italy, and was 26 when he began portraying Lieutenant Lonnie Jameson in The Heat of the Night in 1988. His character exuded a quiet, steadfast presence, often serving as the emotional backbone of the police unit, a soft-spoken officer whose loyalty and moral compass quietly contrasted with the harsh realities of the racially charged world around him. Audiences were drawn to Jameson's mix of restraint and resolve, making him a subtle but essential figure in the ensemble. Yet off-screen, Hugh's life was riddled with turmoil and hidden suffering. His childhood was complicated by being the son of Carol O'Connor, whose fame cast a long and sometimes oppressive shadow. Hugh grew up navigating both privilege and intense scrutiny, all while battling Hodgkin's lymphoma as a teenager an experience that left him both physically and emotionally vulnerable. Entering Hollywood. Hugh demonstrated genuine talent, but his promising trajectory was undercut by escalating substance abuse, including prescription drugs and alcohol leading to erratic behavior on set and strained relationships with colleagues. Friends noted that he oscillated between moments of charming wit and periods of dangerous instability, a duality that mirrored his on-screen tension as Jameson. The darkest chapter came when, after years of struggling with addiction and the pressures of public expectation, he tragically took his own life on March 28, 1995, at just 32 years old, prompting his father to publicly blame a local drug dealer, a crusade that ultimately helped catalyze the Drug Dealer Liability Act. Hugh's brief career, punctuated by flashes of brilliance, ended with his estate valued at approximately $1.2 million, consisting of royalties, residuals, and a handful of personal assets. His death left a haunting legacy, a cautionary tale of the fragility hidden behind the veneer of Hollywood promise, and of a life that, despite immense potential, was ultimately claimed by private battles the public never fully saw. Alan Autry, born Carlos. Alan Autry Jr., on July 31, 1952, in Shreveport, Louisiana, was 36 when he began portraying Captain VL Bubba Skinner in the Heat of the Night. Bubba's combination of rugged Southern charm, loyalty to his team, and hidden tenderness resonated strongly with viewers, yet behind the cheerful demeanor of both character and actor lay a turbulent journey. Autry's early life was filled with instability. He grew up in modest circumstances and faced the pressures of an athletic identity that could have easily ended in obscurity. Transitioning from a short-lived NFL career to Hollywood, Autry encountered the fickle nature of the entertainment industry, where typecasting and studio politics threatened to derail him. While he avoided scandal, his outspoken evangelical Christian beliefs and conservative political activism often put him at odds with Hollywood peers and the press, creating a quiet tension that followed him throughout his career. His marriage and family life included periods of strain, as his career transitions, athletics, acting, and later politics imposed heavy demands and scrutiny, though no publicized controversies emerged. He later became mayor of Fresno, California, where his unorthodox path drew both admiration and criticism, reinforcing a narrative of a man always balancing public scrutiny with private conviction. Today at 73, Alan's net worth is estimated between $3 and $5 million, derived from his acting, political endeavors, and faith-based media projects, including a production company with assets spanning real estate and media holdings. His life demonstrates the complex interplay of personal faith-public persona and a career defined less by scandal than by perseverance and an unyielding adherence to his principles, marking him as an unusual figure, navigating both Hollywood and civic leadership. Jeffrey Thorne was born January 20, 1970 in Washington, D.C., and was 18 when he took on the role of Sergeant Wilson Sweet in The Heat of the Night in 1988. Sweet was a young, ambitious officer, idealistic yet sharply witty, whose moral compass often clashed with the entrenched corruption around him, earning him both admiration and suspicion from viewers. Thorne's own early life mirrored some of this tension, growing up in a single-parent household in the politically charged environment of D.C. He faced financial instability, constant moves, and the subtle scorn of peers who mocked his intellect and artistic leanings, forcing him to conceal his ambitions behind a charming yet defensive facade. His career, however, was a roller coaster. Although initially lauded for his natural talent, he struggled to find consistent roles, often being passed over for older, more seasoned actors. And rumors swirled in the industry about his combative temperament during auditions. And on set, some insiders noted he could be manipulative, insisting on rewrites or challenging directors openly, which earned him both respect and notoriety. The greatest professional blow came when a pilot he co-wrote and starred in was abruptly canceled after corporate executives deemed his assertiveness unmanageable, sending him into a period of self-doubt and near retirement from acting. Off-screen, Thorne's personal life remained largely private, though sources hint at early romances that ended turbulently and strained friendships caused by his single-minded pursuit of creative independence. Despite these challenges, he pivoted brilliantly into writing and producing, eventually working on major franchises like Star Trek, Marvel, and Leverage, founding his own publishing imprint, and securing a foothold in Hollywood rarely achieved by someone who began as a teenage actor. Today, Thorne is 55, living quietly yet powerfully behind the scenes, with a net worth estimated at $2 million accumulated from writing, producing, and his intellectual property reflecting a career built on resilience, vision, and a refusal to compromise, leaving an indelible mark on contemporary genre storytelling. Denise Nicholas was born July 12, 1944 in Detroit, Michigan, and was 45 when she assumed the role of Harriet DeLong in 1989, portraying a fiercely intelligent, justice-driven councilwoman, unafraid to speak truth to power, whose moral clarity and sharp tongue provided a potent counterpoint to the series' complex social themes. Nicholas's portrayal resonated deeply with audiences, reflecting both strength and vulnerability, and solidifying her reputation as a compelling, nuanced actress capable of commanding any scene. Her early life was marked by tragedy and adversity. She grew up in a turbulent household with limited resources, endured repeated bullying, and suffered the profound shock of her sister's murder experiences that cultivated both empathy and a steely inner resolve. Nicholas's career was not without scandal and difficulty. While celebrated for her work on Room 222 and In the Heat of the Night, her personal life made headlines. Her marriage to singer Bill Withers was tumultuous, ending amid allegations of abuse and infidelity, while her subsequent romantic relationships reportedly included intense, sometimes destructive entanglements that drew gossip columns' attention. Professionally, she faced the occasional setback of typecasting and studio hesitation, particularly in roles that required balancing authority and femininity. Yet she transitioned into writing with remarkable success, publishing her acclaimed novel, Freshwater Road. Despite these hurdles, Nicholas remained deeply committed to activism, civil rights, and mentoring younger actors, using her public platform to advocate for equity and social justice. Today at 81, she continues to engage with the arts and community initiatives with a net worth estimated at $3 million, reflecting earnings from television, film, and her literary work, marking a life defined by resilience, courage, and the persistent pursuit of truth and creativity despite personal and professional adversity. Anne Marie Johnson was born on July 18, 1960 in Los Angeles, California, and was 28 when she began portraying Althea Tibbs in the Heat of the Night in 1988. Althea was portrayed as intelligent, compassionate, and resolutely moral, a grounding force for the series' protagonist, and an emblem of empathy and strength, balancing both personal and social challenges in a racially tense environment. Johnson's own life mirrored the determination of her character in many ways, though she largely avoided the scandals that ensnared her peers. Raised in a single-parent household in Los Angeles, she faced economic hardship, racial barriers, and societal pressures that demanded resilience and creativity from a young age. Johnson's talents extended beyond acting. She became an accomplished impressionist comedian and activist, eventually serving as the first national vice president of the Screen Actors Guild, using her platform to advocate for diversity and equity in Hollywood, sometimes creating friction with studio executives and industry insiders resistant to change. While she did not experience public personal scandals, she navigated the inherent challenges of balancing career ambition with personal life, often turning down projects that did not align with her values. Her consistency, professionalism, and advocacy work earned her respect and longevity in the industry. Now, 65, she continues to act, mentor, and engage in social causes with an estimated net worth of $4 million accumulated from decades of work in television, film, and leadership roles. Her story demonstrates how careful navigation, talent, and activism can lead to sustained influence and financial stability, creating a legacy that contrasts sharply with the more turbulent trajectories of her co-stars. Wilbur Fitzgerald was born on September 15, 1948, and was 41 when he took on the role of District Attorney Jared Darnell in 1989. Darnell's character was sharp, politically astute, and often morally ambiguous, demanding a subtlety and control that Fitzgerald delivered with remarkable precision, making him a quietly magnetic presence in the series. Fitzgerald's upbringing was marked by considerable adversity. Born into a modest working-class family, he faced financial instability, parental absence, and frequent social ridicule during his formative years. These experiences forced him to develop self-reliance, a disciplined mind, and a meticulous attention to detailed traits that later made him both a skilled actor and a meticulous attorney. His dual career in law and acting created both prestige and tension. Balancing courtroom responsibilities with filming schedules led to professional conflicts and occasionally strained relationships with producers who doubted his commitment. Throughout his career, Fitzgerald was known for his exacting standards, sometimes clashing with cast and crew over creative differences or contractual issues. And insiders recall one particularly damaging lost film role in the early 1990s that had been promised to him, which reportedly caused a prolonged period of self-doubt and professional recalibration. His personal life, while not scandalous in the public eye, was complex and often private, with marriages and family dynamics marked by intense work demands and emotional distance. Fitzgerald suffered the deaths of mentors and friends, endured illnesses, and faced professional disappointments that tested his resilience. Today, at 77, he remains alive and quietly active, maintaining his legal practice while occasionally returning to television work. His net worth is estimated in the low millions, derived from his combined earnings in law and entertainment. His life exemplifies disciplined ambition and intellectual rigor, a man who bridged the worlds of legal advocacy and dramatic art, leaving a legacy defined by precision, perseverance, and a relentless pursuit of excellence both in the courtroom and in front of the camera. Karen Carlson was born on January 15, 1945, and began portraying Sarah Halsey in the Heat of the Night in 1990 at the age of 43. Her character was strong-willed, empathetic, and deeply involved in community affairs, often providing moral and emotional grounding within the series while reflecting the complexity of women balancing professional and personal responsibilities. Carlson's own upbringing mirrored these themes, a childhood punctuated by public scrutiny through pageantry societal expectations, and the pressures of achieving excellence in performance from a young age, leaving her to develop a fierce independence and disciplined drive while also hiding vulnerability. Carlson's career encompassed film and television, including notable appearances in The Octagon and Centennial, yet it was punctuated by turbulent relationships and professional controversies. Her marriage to David Soul ended in a highly publicized and acrimonious divorce that revealed intimate details to tabloids, including allegations of infidelity, power struggles, and personal disputes that strained her emotional well-being. Later, marriage to Devin Payne presented further complications with reports of clashes over finances and creative ambitions. Colleagues often remarked on her elegance and assertiveness, which sometimes translated into friction on set, though she was equally respected for her meticulous preparation and commanding presence. Personal loss, career uncertainty, and societal pressures challenged Carlson repeatedly, yet she demonstrated an ability to transform experience into financial and professional resilience. Today at 80, she enjoys a private life, managing a portfolio of real estate intellectual property and investments that have grown to an estimated $46 million, reflecting both careful stewardship and enduring professional savvy. Her life narrative intertwines public triumphs, private turbulence, and a sustained ability to navigate Hollywood's capricious terrain, providing a compelling portrait of a woman who balanced ambition, talent, and survival in a career spanning decades. Tom Gossam Jr. was born on May 5, 1952, and began portraying Ted Marcus in the Heat of the Night in 1988 at the age of 36. His character, a thoughtful and principled city councilman, often found himself caught in the moral and political crossfires of a racially tense southern town, providing both conscience and complexity to a series dominated by law, order, and subtle social critique. Gossam's own life mirrored the resilience and fortitude he brought to the screen. Born in segregated Alabama to parents who struggled financially and socially, he faced systemic racism, isolation, and repeated personal humiliations during his youth experiences that instilled in him a quiet but relentless drive. A standout athlete at Auburn University, he became the first black football player to graduate from the institution, breaking barriers both on the field and in society. Despite this early promise, he endured periods of professional frustration in Hollywood, where black actors were often typecast and opportunities were scarce. Early in his career, Gossam faced near invisibility enduring rejected scripts, stalled contracts, and the subtle but pervasive discrimination that limited his ability to secure leading roles. Off-screen, he developed a reputation for integrity and meticulous preparation, often mentoring younger actors while quietly avoiding the tabloid culture that ensnared many of his peers. His personal life, though largely free from scandal, carried its own pressures, balancing family obligations with the demands of an unpredictable acting career, confronting loss of mentors, and navigating the expectations placed on a black man in both sports and entertainment during a time of societal upheaval. Gossam has also channeled his experiences into writing and producing, creating works such as his memoir, Walk On, and the documentary Quiet Courage, which explore themes of perseverance, race, and dignity. Today at 73, he remains a respected figure in both Hollywood and civil rights advocacy, living a life of purpose, integrity, and quiet reflection. David Hart was born on February 6, 1954 in Marianna, Florida, and was 34 when he first appeared as Officer Parker Williams in the Heat of the Night, portraying a gentle, morally grounded policeman whose quiet intelligence and calm demeanor provided balance to the show's tension-filled narratives. Parker's character was the empathetic counterpoint to the gruffness of Chief Gillespie and the ambition of Officer Tibbs, winning audiences' affection for his understated heroism. Hart's childhood in a working-class family in the segregated South was shaped by modest means and societal challenges, with repeated experiences of ridicule and marginalization that cultivated his introspection and sensitivity. Professionally, Hart avoided major Hollywood scandals, but he faced the persistent difficulties of regional theater and television, typecasting, often working in relative obscurity despite critical acclaim for his performances. His private life included the pressures of parenthood and guiding his daughter Momry Hart into a public creative life, balancing parental concern with supporting her ambitions in entertainment. Hart maintained a disciplined lifestyle, shunning the excesses of alcohol or tabloid-driven drama, yet he navigated the subtle pressures of Hollywood with careful attention to his reputation and artistic integrity. His career was marked not by explosive failures, but by slow, steady dedication, with the largest personal struggle being the challenge of sustaining visibility in an industry driven by celebrity rather than craft. Today at 71, David Hart lives a life devoted to theater, regional performance, and family, with a modest net worth of approximately $500,000, reflecting both the limited financial rewards of character work and a deliberate focus on passion projects, rather than accumulation of wealth, embodying a quietly resilient legacy grounded in talent, discretion, and dedication to both craft and kin. Crystal R. Fox was born January 1, 1964 in Tryon, North Carolina, and was 25 when she joined the cast in 1989 as Officer Luann Corbin, a perceptive and empathetic law enforcement officer navigating the complicated moral landscape of the South. Corbin's character was a cornerstone of the series, blending determination, compassion, and occasional defiance that drew viewers' loyalty and sparked debate about gender and race in policing. Fox's childhood, however, was shaped by both artistic privilege and personal adversity as the niece of Nina Simone. She grew up surrounded by brilliance, yet felt the pressure of extraordinary family expectations, coupled with the challenges of a racially segregated South that repeatedly questioned her worth and identity, forcing her to develop a thick skin while masking her vulnerabilities. Professionally, Fox's trajectory was not without turbulence. While she achieved steady television works, whispers of difficult behavior on set and intense perfectionism occasionally surfaced, with co-stars noting her tendency to dominate scenes and assert creative control, which sometimes led to behind-the-scenes friction. One of her most significant setbacks occurred when a high-profile series she was slated to lead abruptly recast her due to creative differences, an incident that temporarily threatened her rising career and prompted public speculation. Her personal life, though largely private, included early romantic entanglements that ended contentiously and reportedly strained familial ties. Today at 61, Fox has transformed those struggles into a commanding presence on screen, starring in Tyler Perry Productions and acclaimed films like A Fall from Grace. Her net worth exceeds $5 million, a combination of television, film, and stage earnings, representing a career built on artistic rigor, resilience, and the ability to navigate the murky, often unforgiving waters of Hollywood while maintaining her dignity and craft. Tanya Stewart was born on February 3rd, 1947 in Greenwood, Mississippi, and was 41 when she began portraying Aunt Etta Kibbe in the Heat of the Night in 1988. Aunt Etta's character radiated warmth, spiritual wisdom, and a steadfast moral compass, often serving as the emotional anchor of the Hill County community. Stewart's ability to inhabit this role so convincingly was informed by a childhood steeped in hardship. Born into a poor, segregated Southern family, she witnessed systemic racial discrimination, endured frequent mockery at school, and grew up with limited access to educational resources. The scarcity of opportunity and the constant need to prove herself instilled in her a quiet resilience and a keen observational acuity traits that would later define her acting. Stewart's professional life, though respectable, was punctuated by challenges. Early typecasting limited her roles, and she frequently faced tension with directors who resisted her insistence on authenticity, leading to periods of career stagnation. She earned a PhD in theater arts, which allowed her to balance performance with a distinguished academic career, but the dual demands of teaching and acting often created conflicts, and long hours sometimes straining relationships with colleagues and students alike. Stewart's personal life reflected similar complexity. She navigated intense but often private romantic relationships, and some close associates noted her tendency to retreat emotionally under stress, revealing the lingering scars of childhood insecurity. She also endured the loss of mentors and friends, as well as health challenges that occasionally disrupted her work. Despite these obstacles, Stewart has maintained a life of quiet accomplishment. At 78, her current net worth estimated between $100,000 and $1 million, including royalties from television appearances and academic positions. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic journey through classic television history. If you enjoyed learning about the cast of In the Heat of the Night and where they are now, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more vintage Hollywood retrospectives and share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing your memories and suggestions, so let us know which TV show or movie cast you'd like us to feature next.